Hey guys, Steve Welch here, Beam and Toyota in Nashville. Wanted to come to you guys because I've had a few people ask this question, and it's a very good question, and you guys need to kind of consider this when you're trading in a car. So if you ever notice when you trade in your car, they always ask for a 10 or usually 20-day payoff. Reason for that is processing time. All right, so how long it takes to process your paperwork and get everything done and send the payout. Most times, most dealerships will not pay off your trade until they are funded from the bank for the new car. So if there's a delay in paperwork, if there's a delay in for some reason, like a title delay, something like that, if there's some kind of a delay in the paperwork on the vehicle you bought, new or used, the vehicle that you bought, it could delay them paying off the vehicle that you traded. So one of the main reasons for this video is I wanted to tell you guys about this. So I've had people before that trade in a car and their payment's due in 3 days. And then they say, well, I'm not gonna make that payment. Make that payment, guys. And here's the reason why. If it takes 20 days, if God forbid there's a hiccup and it takes 30 days, sometimes I've had people say, well, my payment was due last week, I'm not paying that. If you get past 10 days, now you've got a late fee in most banks, right? Sometimes 15, of course. But if you get past 30 days, they're gonna report to your credit, and your credit can take a ding on that. You're much better off to have paid one extra payment that you'll end up usually getting back, because it will be considered an overpayment at that point and protecting your credit, as opposed to just hoping that it's all done in time. Now, if you just made your payment last week and then you traded in the car, you're probably going to be all right. But you do want to watch for all that, and then double check when your new account and all that is activated. Once you have your new account through the bank that you've gone to, chances are the other one's paid off. That also doesn't hurt you to actually check and keep pulling the payoff on your old car. Once a week, something like that. If you start getting close to when your payment's due, usually you have a little bit of a grace period, of course, but if you start getting close to when your payment's due, pull that payoff and keep looking. Once you get to the point where it says there's no information, or payoff is balance is zero or something like that, that's when you want to, that's when you know that everything's done. The other thing you want to do is shut off automatic payments. You want to control that from that point. So once you trade it in, even though the car is traded in, your bank's computer system can still take that payment. So if it says that the payment's due on the 22nd, it can take the payment even with a zero balance. Sometimes it can take a payment. So just because you've set up the bank and you've authorized that bank to pull that payment out month after month after month. So kind of synopsis here: make sure that your payments are up to date. Realize that it can take 10, 20, sometimes even longer days for the dealership to pay off the old one, and then also, just like I said, keep checking it, find out when it's paid off, and realize that just because you've signed paperwork doesn't mean that your obligation to that old loan has gone away, because it hasn't until it's been paid off. Car dealerships won't probably pay it off until the deal is funded. It's normal. And then things like emissions checks and things like that could come into play for being able to get new tags, stuff like that. It's always an issue sometimes, or well, not always, but sometimes that's an issue. But yeah, just trying to give you guys some information. Protect your credit. Your credit is something to be protected. It's definitely great to have a great credit score, but you get that one time 30 days late because it was paid off after 31 because there was a slight hiccup with the paperwork. That's the other thing too. If you have to re-sign paperwork, realize that restarts that clock on how quick the paperwork can get through the dealership. So and then you have two different things too, that some people say, well, go to a small dealership, there's less paperwork to deal with. It really doesn't matter if it's small or big, because they tend to have the right amount of staff to handle the amount of deals they do. So that's not really an argument to have. And I mean, I've heard people say that the smaller dealerships have more problems because they don't see as many things. That's fine. I mean, whatever you want to argue on that, you can argue, but the basics of this video are there. So definitely protect yourself, protect your credit, realize what they're going to do with your trade and with the trade payoff, and make sure that you stay on top of it. It's going to benefit you. Steve Welsh, Beaman Toyota in downtown Nashville. Definitely like, subscribe. Appreciate all of you, and let me know if I can help you guys with anything else. But wanted to get this information to you because just thought of it. Guys, definitely take care. Appreciate you. Steve Welsh, Beaman Toyota.